Errol Spence Jr. was asked about a future super fight with Canelo Alvarez, and he says this fight could happen. So I want to talk about this matchup right here on Gym Boxing. While leaving the Canelo Alvarez versus Daniel Jacobs middleweight fight at T-Mobile Arena, Errol Spence was asked about eventually moving up to face Canelo Alvarez. Okay, the IBF World Champion did not flat out reject the idea of jumping up 2 weight classes to battle the Mexican superstar. What he went on to say was, "We'll see." He says it could happen. But before I jump into this conversation, I want to welcome back all of my subscribers. Welcome back, fight fans. This is Gym Boxing. It's your boy Get a Mic. If you're new to this channel, I invite you to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon right now. That way you won't miss no more videos just like this. Smash that thumbs up button for me. Give it a thumbs up. Errol Spence Jr. has been calling out, or he's been mentioning Canelo Alvarez's name a lot recently. Okay, we know Canelo just basically had this big fight with Daniel Jacobs where he came out and basically won. It was a close fight, but he ended up pulling it out. But this is not the first time we heard Errol Spence Jr. talking about a possible matchup with Canelo Alvarez. He's been calling Canelo out a while back. We've seen him on Instagram saying that he'll fight Canelo. He's basically, this is nothing new to Errol Spence Jr. And a lot of people have been basically giving Errol Spence a lot of crap for the fact that he fought Mikey Garcia, who was moving up from lightweight, which he also got a world title at 140 pounds. So it was basically only one division that Errol Spence moved up. But a lot of people was giving him a lot of crap about that, in the fact that Mikey Garcia was actually the one that called out Errol Spence. Errol Spence didn't call out Mikey Garcia. He was calling Errol Spence's name. And Errol Spence, welcomed the challenge and said, "Come on up and get some of this work." And that fight actually happened, and it ended up being a good fight. Errol Spence pretty much won every round of that fight. It was very entertaining. I had a great time. I actually was able to go to the fight myself. Now, this situation with Canelo Alvarez seems like there's some similarities between this situation. Okay, Errol Spence Jr. is what they would call an black American fighter, okay, with Jamaican descent. And Mikey Garcia was a Mexican American fighter with Mexican descent, okay. A lot of Mexican fighters feel like Errol Spence Jr. should move up and fight Canelo in the same fashion that Mikey Garcia moved up and fought Errol Spence. Okay, that's their way of, I guess, getting some payback for that butt whooping that Errol Spence put on Mikey Garcia. I do want to talk about this fight a little bit. I definitely would not mind seeing this fight. I'm the type of fight fan that welcome all possibilities. I feel like if it's a good fight that can be made, let's see it. We understand that Terrence Crawford is the big fight that everybody want to see at the welterweight division. But me personally, I feel like when it comes down to Terrence Crawford, I think he's at a bit of a disadvantage when it comes to negotiating, for the fact that he's actually with Top Rank and Bob Arum. But I think, if the fans get other fights, like I think we're expecting to get the Errol Spence Jr. versus Sean Porter fight. Okay, so there's fights out there that could be made for Errol Spence Jr. at 147 pounds. The majority of the champions is with the PBC, and I think Errol Spence fans would not really be upset if he was to go and unify titles versus guys like Sean Porter, which I think is getting ready to happen, versus guys like Keith Thurman, who's Errol Spence been calling out for multiple years now. Also guys like Manny Pacquiao. So there's other fights for him. There's even guys like Danny Garcia that's with the PBC, who actually I think a lot of fans wouldn't mind seeing that fight as well. So I think when it comes down to Terrence Crawford, I think he's definitely at a disadvantage when it comes down to trying to make the big fights with the other top champions, and also the mega fight with Errol Spence Jr. Right? I do believe Terrence Crawford was supposed to be trying to send some sort of negotiations to Danny Garcia's camp, but I haven't really heard anything back on that yet. Right? So The 29-year-old Errol Spence Jr. He stands about 2 inches taller than the 5'8" Canelo Alvarez, but you know, Alvarez is a middleweight champion, has fought a higher. He's fought as high as 168 pounds. I think he went up there and got that belt from Rocky Fielding, if I'm not mistaken. This is 3 divisions above where Errol Spence fights. Excuse me. But in my personal opinion, with that being said, too, Errol Spence Jr. we know walks around probably at about 170-something pounds on a regular. He's not a small guy by any stretch of imagination. He stands 2 feet taller than, excuse me, he stands 2 inches taller than Canelo Alvarez. So, you know, it could be a decent sized matchup once Errol Spence Jr. decides to start to move up in weight and acclimate to the bigger divisions. I'm pretty sure most people would, right off the bat, just, you know, come out and say Canelo Alvarez would destroy Errol Spence. I see a lot of boxing fans say that. But, you know, at the end of the day, I still want to see it. You know, I'm the type of boxing fan that, you know, if the fans are going to come out and make accusations about who will beat who, I just want to see it. And that goes for the Terrence Crawford fight as well. I believe Errol Spence beats Terrence Crawford, but, you know, I want to see it. I don't know that for sure. Terrence Crawford has a great skill set. So let's, you know, if we were to look at the style matchups, okay, both of these fighters have good boxing ability. They both have somewhat of a Mexican style, somewhat. Okay, I think after Canelo lost to Floyd Mayweather, he seems like he's been adding a touch of slick boxer in there too. He's been trying to use a lot of head movement and a lot of this here, but he definitely comes forward when he has the opportunity to try and come forward and hurt fighters. He got a mean left hook, and I think Errol Spence Jr. is definitely a pressure fighter. He's definitely very dominant in the ring, and he's going to definitely try to come forward and put the pain on the fighters that he's in the ring with. So I think this makes for an interesting matchup, and I think that this could be an explosive situation if these two was to ever meet up. Now, Canelo Alvarez is extremely good with his upper body movement. He has explosive power when it comes down to his left hook, you know, straight right. He throws the double hook. So he has some good tools in his arsenal, and I think he's extremely skilled. I think he got good defense. We saw that versus Gennady Golovkin in the first fight, and also we saw that just recently this past weekend versus Daniel Jacobs. He showed a lot of great upper body movement. He evaded a lot of shots, although I did think Daniel Jacobs did get busier in the second half. So on the part of Errol Spence, we know Errol Spence Jr., he's the type of fighter that just proved to us that he actually does have great boxing skill. A lot of people didn't believe he did. They thought he was just a come forward type of fighter that basically comes forward with brute strength and just punishes the smaller fighters. But in versus Mikey Garcia, I think he proved to a lot of people that he has great head movement. He blocks a lot of shots, not only with his gloves, but he blocks. You know, he blocks all the punches, the conventional punches that's coming his way. He moves backwards well, forward well. He knows how to move side to side. He's not necessarily too stiff with his feet. He's pretty athletic of a fighter. So I think that'll make for a good matchup with him and Canelo, man. You know what I'm saying? And I posted somewhat of a small poll in my community tab about who I think, not who I think, but I was asking the boxing fans, who do they think is a bigger fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford, or Errol Spence Jr. and Canelo Alvarez. And I think a lot of the pure boxing fans thought it was the Crawford fight because, you know, obviously that's the fight at 147 pounds. That would be the biggest fight to be made. But I think financial-wise and probably viewership, pay-per-view-wise, no doubt about it will be Errol Spence versus Canelo Alvarez, man. So I think Errol Spence understands the magnitude of that type of fight. I think he understands where that can take his career if he was to beat a Mexican superstar. And I think he's trying to take a small page out of Floyd Mayweather's book when he moved. I don't know if he was moving up. I believe he was moving up when he fought Oscar De La Hoya. And ever since he fought Oscar De La Hoya, when he won that fight, I think Floyd Mayweather's star power skyrocketed from that point forward. Okay, he ended up being the A side in every fight afterwards, and he just went on to remain undefeated in his career. So I think Errol Spence looks at Canelo Alvarez as one of those possible matchups that can catapult his career to worldwide stardom, just, you know, big pay-per-view buys, And I think he understands the magnitude of that, man. So I'm going to talk more about this fight. I got a lot more stuff coming. I'm trying to get all my technology and stuff together, man. So y'all stay patient with your boy. I really appreciate all the brothers and sisters that support the channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Drop your thoughts down in the comment section. Give me your thoughts on this particular matchup, man. You know, I'm still trying to get my voice back right, man. So y'all bear with me. This your boy Get a Mic. This is Gym Boxing. And I'll be back with much more content. Much love, peace, and blessings, and I'll be out. Peace.